Hi everyone. It's International Children's Book Day today, and I thought I'd just make a really quick little video and take the opportunity to share a few of the children's books that I've recently bought or recently read or recently reviewed. And I hope you all get a chance to read a children's book before the day is over and just remember how important children's literature is to kids, to teenagers, and to us adults still, no matter how old we are. Children's books, like many of you out there, are definitely what made you fall in love with reading or fall in love with writing. And I think they're really special things and they should be celebrated. So the first one I have is A Friend for George by Gabriel Evans. I reviewed this book last year, but I reviewed it from a PDF mock-up, and I've only just got round to buying a hard copy. And it's a beautiful book about George who really wants a friend. And it involves a trip to the beach and boat trips and some fish in the ocean who become George's friend. But there is a bit of a twist near the end, which is really sweet and really surprising. And it's definitely a book for rereading. There's a lot of layers to it and really special messages about friendship, and it's very heartwarming. And I definitely, if you haven't read it already, pick up a copy of this, A Friend for George, and I think you'll really enjoy it. The next one is Mitchell Itches, an Eczema Story by Kristin Kelly and Amelina Jones. And I just received this recently because I wrote a review for it. And it's a picture book about a topic which my partner actually has himself, eczema. And there's not many books at all, let alone children's books about eczema. And it can be a really difficult thing to deal with. So I think it's really fantastic that there's a picture book out there for kids with eczema or other types of skin conditions because Mitchell Itches is such a wonderful story. It's a great resource and tool to help kids with eczema feel they're not alone, but also to show their parents and their friends just what living with eczema is like. And this book, Mitchell Itches, does a wonderful job of telling a great story about a boy who just happens to have eczema, but is only one part of him. He has so many other talents and skills. And yet it also introduces the topic in a non-didactic way that's very accessible and it's really, really heartwarming. That's by EK Books. I love EK Books. A lot of people might be watching this on my Facebook or my Instagram will know EK Books, and they have books with heart is their motto, and this book definitely has a lot of heart. I just put a review on my socials of this. Jeff Giraffe, The Great Escape by Amelia McInerney and Alexandra Colombo. I wrote a review of it. Some of you may have read that. I love Amelia's work. She is hilarious. She's so deadpan, so funny, so great at rhyme. And check out Neil the Amazing Sea Cucumber and The Book Chook, two of her other older titles, which are fantastic. But Jeff Giraffe, I think, goes to the top of my list of one of my favorite picture books. It's so funny. It's so funny and great rhyme. And when I was reading it, I read a review of it. So I read it a couple times and I laughed out loud every time. Even though I knew what was coming, I still laughed. And I, it, it's a children's picture book, but it's definitely a lot in there for the parents who will be reading it to the kids. And so that's a really great one. It's only newly released, so pick that one up. Seal Child by Robert Vescio and Anna Pignataro. This is such a sweet story. Very sad at some moments, but really uplifting at the end about a girl who is loses her family temporarily when she's hit by a storm, and she finds a little pup seal, and the seal and the little girl sort of reunite and bond together and maintain a friendship as they sort of struggle to survive together. And then the girl and the seal find their way back to their families. And it's very sweet. It has gorgeous illustrations by Anna Pignataro, and definitely a really lovely pick. I just finished reading this at the moment, Those Girls by Pamela Rushby. It's actually not published until tomorrow, but I was sent an early copy to write a review. If you know Pamela, you know her work, a lot of historical fiction, and she's excellent every time. The- I really love her book about World War II called The Secret Battle, and this is sort of set around the similar time with similar themes, and it's excellent, excellently written. The characters, Hilly and Eileen, are two of the main characters in this book about the Land Army girls in Queensland in the early 1940s who are sent out to farms to help during World War II and do their efforts for the war. And it's a terrific book. And, what else can I say? But it's wonderful, as I expected it would be. And it comes out tomorrow, so make sure you grab a copy. Any historical fiction fans of YA will love it. The Great Gallipoli Escape by Jackie French. This came out about a year ago, but I've only just bought a copy when the paperback came out. Look, it's Jackie French. You know what you're going to get, something marvelous, and you do. It's breathtaking, incredible dialogue, such rich characters, really exciting adventure, and based in history. It's an excellent read, and I buy Jackie's books, out of habit lately because they're all wonderful, and I love adding them to my collection. So that's another one that I'm really glad to have. And lastly, one I've just finished reading is Losing the Plot by Annaleise Byrd. She's a local Brisbane author, and this is her first novel. And I followed Annalise's journey along on social media the last year or two, when this book was anticipation of coming out. And so I was really looking forward to reading it. It's sort of like sort of a twist on fairy tales and fantasy and magic, and but also set in the real world. And it's great. It's such a lot of fun. And one refreshing thing, look how thin it is. It's 130 odd pages. I personally have become so tired of fantasy novels that are 500 pages. They can be such a slog to get through because a lot of it can feel like it's not really, does it need to be this big? Annalise's book gets right to the point, has an excellent story. It flows and paces so well, and it just does what a good book should do, tell the story as long as it needs to be. And in this case, it was a shorter one, and it was a wonderful, wonderful book. And there's a sequel coming out, so that's something to look forward to. Well, that's all the books that I have for now, but happy International Children's Book Day. And I hope that you get to maybe pick up a new book and enjoy it, or even revisit an old classic from your childhood. But as long as you're reading a book, uh, well, you can't go wrong.